So I'm going to do a few questions here. So I'm actually going to do question 18. I don't always do the first question, but I'll just show sort of the process of elimination method applied to this question. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is I would just check zone 1 to see if there's any retail, and I would find the rule breaker for that. So C breaks that rule. Okay, so I found the rule 1 rule breaker. We have a maximum 2 per zone for housing. So I would be looking for something that says 3 housing. And I see that in D, so D breaks rule 2, so I found that rule breaker. Then I move on to look at rule 3. So if we have housing, then we have a maximum of 1 retail. So A breaks that rule. In zone 2, we have 1 housing, and then we have 2 retail, which is not allowed, right? That exceeds the maximum. So A is out. And then 4, we can't have housing and industrial together, and we can't have 3 retail and industrial together. So B, we have housing and industrial together, so rule 4 is broken by answer choice B. So the correct answer must be E, and I'll just show an example of that. So zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, we've got 1 industrial. We have 2 housing and 1 retail. I'll add a little 1 there. Add a 1. When we have an I, sometimes the ones, it's good to kind of distinguish them a little bit. Do that up there as well. And then the zone 3, we have 1 industrial, and we have 2 retail. Okay, so that's one acceptable solution that we got from the first question. Moving on to question 19. Which one of the following cannot be true within a single zone? So can we have 2 subzones designated, 1 housing and 1 retail? That doesn't break our rule involving housing and retail, so I don't think it's A. All right, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it certainly doesn't jump out at me why that would be a problem, right? So, I mean, I really did only check 1 rule, but I would think that that's probably the rule that they're testing me on with that one. So I feel fairly confident in eliminating A. B, 2 subzones are designated, 1 industrial and 1 retail. So if we have retail, 3 retail, then we can't have industrial. If we have industrial, then we can't have 3 retail, so we have a maximum of 2. But we haven't exceeded that maximum. So again, looks like they're only testing us on that 1 rule. C, 3 subzones are designated, all of them retail. So if I have 3 retail, that means I can't have industrial. If I have 3 retail, that also means I can't have housing. But I mean, there really isn't anything wrong with that. It just can't be in zone 1. So they're kind of, we're looking at, rule 3 and 4, and maybe kind of looking at rule 1. C is out. D, 4 subzones are designated, none of them industrial. Okay, so that means that I have to fill up 4 spots with housing and retail. So the maximum that I can have for housing is 2. So if I just fill up the maximum for housing, if I have housing, then I have a maximum of 1 retail. So I'm going to have an empty space. I'm not actually going to be able to fill up those 4 spots. And then if I don't do any housing, the maximum retail that I could have is 3. But again, I'm not going to be able to fill out those 4 spots. So it's not possible for me to have 4 subzones in a single zone, and none of them be industrial. So D, because it doesn't work, because it's impossible, is the correct answer for this question. All right, this is a must be false or cannot be true type question. Okay, I'll do question 20. So what's the maximum number of designated subzones allowed in zone 3? So zone 3, the only thing that really is important about zone 3 is that it's not zone 1, in that it doesn't have the restriction that it can't have retail. So what I would do is I would just see, okay, if I put the maximum number of retail, all right, then I can't have any industrial and I can't have any housing. Ooh, okay, that's gonna be a problem. What if I put the maximum number of industrial? Well, then I can't have any housing, but I can have 2 retail, right? I can go up to the maximum there. So there I could actually have 5. So that's getting pretty high, right? Like the highest option that we have in our answer choices is 6. So with this one, I have actually eliminated A, B, and C because 5 is possible. So out of those, 5 would be the maximum. Maybe I can get 6. So let's see. I can only get 2 housing if I go maximum housing, so this is not looking promising. And then if I have housing at all, I can't have industrial. And if I have 2 housing, then I can have a maximum of 1 retail. So here I'm only going to get 3 as well. So I have to choose between industrial and housing, but housing has a maximum of 2, whereas industrial only has the original maximum. And then also with housing, we can only have 1 retail, whereas with industrial, we can have 2 retail. So the correct answer here is D. Okay. All right, I'm going to do another video with the last 3 questions, but if you have any comments or any specific questions about these ones, then just let me know.